Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back in the garage working on the Sharknose. So in our last video, we got the chassis pretty well done. I took it apart and completely painted the chassis the same aluminum color as the wheels. Got it up and running, so it runs out pretty good now. Corrected our steering issue with some bushings. And I've been working on some wood templates to kind of create the body shape. See those little pieces of wood here? Started off making those with just a piece of kind of stiff paper. This is an old calendar, but anyway, turned that into little plywood templates. You can see them on the other side there, just to kind of create the shape of the body. So I'm starting at the cockpit and working my way back, and then I'll work from the back forward, or from the cockpit forward. Once I finish making the nose part, which I've got kind of sitting over there, waiting for some glue to dry, so the piece of foam with some clamps on it. So that's what that is. That is the buck for the front end. And so here's my body design to kind of remind you where we are. Some rough measurements are on here. This is scaled off of just something I found on the internet. And here is approximately where the body work will be as far as the shape. You know, it's 27 inches at its widest point, 20 inches at the front, roughly 17 inches at the back. And this represents the axle. So kind of give an idea of the scale of this thing and the shape we're trying to achieve, which of course is this general shape. It's got a kind of a teardrop, a little narrow at the middle. The front widens at the middle and then narrows at the back. And of course, this is a gentle slope here and a gentle slope there. The bottom's relatively flat all the way across, so it's fairly easy. And like I said, I'm using these little pieces of plywood as kind of templates to help me make sure I get the shape correct on the body work. And I started shaping already some aluminum. This is a 24-inch by 24-inch piece of aluminum. Using my English wheel, so I've got a mark every inch and a quarter or so. I just used a ruler, mark the center line, and running it through the English wheel over here to get this shape. And it's really difficult, so I'm going to set the camera down, see if I can get this to show you about what that'll look like. So the bottom is down here, the little radius of the bottom to go around the bottom to attach to the bottom of the frame. And it comes up like that. So that is about what it would look like going back to roughly there. The original car has this in several pieces, so I'm going to replicate that as best I can. So I've got a 24-inch piece, there'll be a 12-inch piece back here approximately, and then it slowly gets narrower toward the back. So the cockpit's fairly steady as far as the size goes, and then narrows the back, narrows the front. So that's what I'm working on now. I'll show you this other piece I'm working on here. The second piece for the other side, this is a mirror image of the other one. So I've already started shaping it, and like I said, I marked it every inch using just the ruler, just to give me a place to, as I work, so it keeps the wheel in a straight line. So you don't want to go across it. If you go across it at different angles, it could change your shape. So I'm trying to do this where it stays a uniform shape. So I'm going to set the camera down and kind of show you how this works. So I've got a rubber band on the top of this English wheel. This is a Harbor Freight English wheel. I got this rubber band from Eastwood, I believe. The Eastwood wheels and Harbor Freight wheels are the same. This is an 8-inch diameter, I believe. So I'm starting at the bottom, trying to go with straight lines across here, using those as a guide for my eyeball. Going all the way off the panel. You can do this same thing if you have a slip roller, but most of us aren't going to have a slip roller, as that's a fairly unique piece of material, the equipment rather. So I'm going on the line and in between the line, going off the panel. I'm just going to work that, and I've got a 4-inch die on the bottom right now to not be too radical because it's a fairly gentle slope. When I go to the bottom, I'll put a 2-inch wheel on there. I'm trying to keep a track of where I'm at, so I'm not putting too many wheels in one spot. It's going to get out of round and out of shape. If you go and wheel it too much in one spot, you could mess up the radius. So I'm trying to be consistent with, if I wheel here, I wheel here the same amount. So if that makes sense. There's moderate tension on here, not a lot. And as I come around, I'm going to get to a point where I can't wheel anymore because it's going to interfere with the chassis, which we're there now. So I'll keep track of where I'm at here, flip it around, and wheel that same side from this direction. what this does with the rubber band, English wheels typically will put a crown in this, so you'll bend it 3 directions, side to side and front to back. So put a crown in it. You put the rubber band on it, it bends it in 2 directions, just to give you a radius. So I don't want to put a crown in this because it's a very simple shape. And there are panels in this car that might need a crown. The front and the rear might need a crown. So I may not use a rubber band in those areas. I might want it to be higher on one end than on the other. I want it to shrink. It'll stretch one side and shrink the other side, essentially. Or have the effect of shrinking one side and stretching one side. Okay, so that's one time all the way through. And I can check it against my little template. Oh, actually we're really, really close. You can see the center is getting close, the edges down here. Maybe one more time through there and we'll be good to go. Sometimes you gotta straighten the rubber band up a little bit. It tends to walk. I put a little 3M adhesive on here to try to make it a little sticky so it doesn't do that, but it still walks a little bit no matter what you do. So again, starting at one end, working my way across. Now most CycleKarts will have a shape like this. This is what the hood of most CycleKarts will look like. So this one happens to be consistent all the way around. If I wanted this to be bigger on one end and shorter on the other, I would put my lines kind of coming together to where it pinches, right? So this would be a smaller radius, this would be a bigger radius. You can do that with the same method. Just put your lines accordingly. So these are 1.25 inches, these would be 1 inch. Just kind of move them over, mark them, and then that would get one side smaller than the other radius. So if you got something to change the shape, that's how you would do that. Turn it around. Check to see where we are. Oh man, it is just about perfect. So that last little bit, yeah, we're good. That's got it right there. So now I've got the bottom marked, which is this side. I'm going to put a little more bend on here, so I'll change the die because I need this to fit flat against the bottom of the car. Okay, starting to come around. It'll take a little more work, we'll get that worked out. Okay, so I got the 2 panels just sort of lightly clamped onto the cart. I'm realizing I'm probably going to have to take the motor out, turn it on its side so I can drill from under here. The drill won't fit under there now, it's too close to the ground. But you can kind of see, if I pull this panel in, you kind of see how that fits there. Pretty nice. This will get, of course, the top will get trimmed. And this cockpit will have a shape to it. Top panel, lower panels later. So yeah, that's the first step. We'll make another panel that goes back here and then the back of the car. But we made the same method as those 2 panels were made. Same exact process. So yeah, I think this should be taking shape pretty quick here. I'll walk around the other side of it. Starting to get an idea what it might look like, and that is exciting. All right, more to follow. Okay, so I took the panels and I put a small bend in the bottom of it to fit the bottom of the frame. Take the motor out and I turn the car up on its side so I could drill the bottom from underneath here and put cleats in to hold the panels in place. So I've got the driver's side panels on, just sitting there loose right now. You can see it fits that shape pretty nicely. It's not attached up here, but it's coming together. So I've got a line of rivets that are going to go down here, and the original car would have had the same exact in about the same spot. So we've got a 12-inch panel here, 24-inch panel here. I'll repeat the same process on the other side. I'm using these little tech screws, sheet metal screws, to pull these panels together so they're nice and snug. And yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. And of course, this is going to get trimmed down for the cockpit area. Once the panels are all in place, we can, cut a nice scribe around it to determine exactly where that's going to line up and end up at. So Then we'll have to figure out a way to attach it up here. Might have to make some little brackets to attach the body panels here. Or I might just have to bend this over this tab here, which is not a big deal. I can do that, and then rivet it to the top. That might be the simplest of operations, but we're designing this on the fly, so we'll see what makes sense when we get to that point. Okay, more to follow. Okay, so I've got the car tipped up on its side, doing the second panel on the passenger side. So I'm using my little wood templates just to kind of keep it all aligned, so that when I put my rivets in the bottom, everything will be lined up. I will have to go ahead and fit the next piece, which will go here. And yeah, that's coming together pretty well. Okay, and there we are. We got two sides on. So the main cockpit panels are in place. Of course, these will need to be trimmed. But I'm going to leave them down because I know I'm going to trim this in kind of an arch. So I'll leave that until I know exactly where that's going to go. Leave it alone right now, for example. So I've got my little panels in here just kind of support everything, keep everything in place. That's looking pretty good. So I will turn my attention next. Well, let's see. Should I go back or forward? I'm thinking I might go backward. Finish the tail section. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So anyway, that'll be up next. Okay, guys, so I neglected to film a few steps, but just to catch up on where we are right now, the front cockpit, I took these to work, and I used our metal bender, and I measured and then bent these over, and I'm securing them on the inside onto the inner frame rail. So as part of the frame rail, that's where the rivets will go. It provides a nice surface to get in and out of the car. Looks pretty cool. The cockpit piece will be here for the dash. It'll be a rounded bit that goes around later, but that'll be part of the hood, I believe. So I've already started in the rear sections. I've taken the axle out so I can work on it a little easier. I made these panels the same way I made these panels. I marked the panel here, and I narrowed the marks here. So it narrowed as it goes back. So it's wider back here, narrower as it goes back toward the rear. And I've put a small bend on the bottom. You see that here. And that allows me to attach it to the bottom of the frame rail, which you can see that is here with the clecos. And I've got it overlapped by 1 inch inside. And so before I drill holes here on the outside, I will finish curving this over. So I've got to curve the top of this over. I'll probably have to put a few shrinks in because this does go two directions. It goes down and around. So a little more complicated. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this area the same as I treated the cockpit. This will get bent down around and attached here. And then our hood cover, our engine cover will go on top of that. So this doesn't interfere. Because the engine needs a lot of space to kind of drop in. So I don't want too much of this in the way. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make my shrinker stretcher out. Put a few shrinks in this part of the panel, I believe. Up here. And that should bring this down. Yeah, I think that will work. So that's up next. Okay, so this is a shrinker made by Eastwood. Dennis Thomas and I went together and purchased this tool kind of as a club tool. So there's no CycleKart club. So the way this works, look at the little teeth in there. I push the pedal down and it pulls the metal together. Those little teeth lock into the metal and pull it together. That's how that works. So I'm going to try to put this on the tripod so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, a bit more progress. I went ahead and got this area shrunk down. You see the marks in the metal. That did bring this down to where I could curve it down. And then I took it back and put this on the bender and bent this down so I could rivet this in here to the inside of the frame. Did that on both sides. This is a bit of a chore to get this bent over enough because the machine doesn't want to bend it while anyway, it's a bit of a challenge. So that's what our back profile looks like. The measurement here to here is about the same. So I'll rivet these in, or screw them in for now. And then we'll turn our attention, I think, in the next video to the front body panels to get these side panels on. I'm going to take all this front suspension off so I can work around that area. So this is looking pretty good. It's getting the shape I wanted. A little wider in the middle, a little narrower at the back. And yeah, I think it's coming together pretty good. Hey, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate your likes and your comments. If you have any questions on this build or anything else we're doing, just let me know. Happy to help. Now, your job is to get out in the garage and build something cool.